What ordinary part of your day, maybe even right now, might God be using to speak to you?
Hmm.
It's a question that, well, for me anyway, it really makes you stop and think, doesn't
Oh,
it?
it
It
does.
makes you consider how much our perception actually shapes our reality.
Absolutely. How we see things changes everything.
So today, maybe we can explore that a bit, how we can unlock a new way of seeing, finding those unseen threads of presence woven into just everyday life.
Yeah, this idea that the sacred isn't somewhere else, but it's
Right.
right here. If we just have the eyes to see it.
Exactly.
And that opening question, it connects so well with that ancient wisdom, Matthew 6.22.
Oh, right. The eye is the lamp of the body.
Precisely.
Mm.
If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. And the key there, I think, is that it's not just talking about physical sight.
No, it feels deeper than that.
It's much deeper. It's about a way of perceiving the world that, well, it illuminates our whole being. It colors every single
A
experience.
healthy eye. Like a clear lens, maybe, not cluttered up.
Exactly. Unobstructed, letting that true light really flood in.
Okay, so spiritual clarity then, really understanding what's going on beneath the surface. It sounds like it begins with intentional focus,
Intentional. That's the word. It's a deliberate choice.
where we decide to put our gaze. Because what we fix our eyes on, that really shapes how we interpret everything around us, right? Every conversation, every challenge.
Fundamentally, it sets the tone for everything else.
So how do we cultivate that? How do we train our eyes, spiritually?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What's encouraging is that a healthy spiritual eye isn't some, like, mystical power only a few people have.
Uh-huh.
Often it's described more simply as a heart aligned with something greater.
Aligned with purpose, maybe, or values.
Yes, exactly. Values like love or gratitude or just that sense of divine purpose. When our hearts get aligned, it's like recalibrating something inside.
An internal compass.
That's a great way to put it. And then you start to perceive meaning, presence in places you just overlooked before.
Like where? What kind of places?
Well, think about it. An ordinary conversation, maybe just a fleeting moment of connection, or an unexpected detour on your commute that makes you notice something new,
Hmm.
or even just the simple routine of making coffee in the morning. And yes, even in life setbacks, those hard times, especially then sometimes,
Yeah.
there's a deeper reality always at work. The challenge and the opportunity is learning how to see it, how to tune in.
That makes sense. And it feels like that shift in perspective, how we perceive, it could genuinely make the mundane feel sacred.
Absolutely.
We often wait for the big fireworks, the grand signs, don't we?
We do. We look for the extraordinary.
But maybe the real truth is it's not about waiting. It's about tuning our eyes to the light that's already there, woven into everything.
It's already present. We just need to adjust our focus.
Do you have an example, like where someone really experienced this transformation?
Oh, definitely. These principles show up in the most ordinary lives. Think about that story, I think it was from 2024, about the Oregon delivery driver.
Oh, I think I heard about that. He used to just drop packages.
Exactly. Just a job.
Yeah.
Focused on the schedule, the boxes, getting to the next stop. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
But then he made a conscious shift. He started seeing his route differently. Each home wasn't just an address anymore.
What did he see it as?
He called it holy ground.
Wow. Holy ground.
Yeah. And he'd take just a moment, maybe just a breath, and intentionally pray for the families inside.
That's incredible.
And he said it himself, something like, I used to just drop packages, but now I see each stop as holy ground.
That shift, it turned a regular job into something more like a ministry.
Precisely. It shows how powerful a simple, deliberate change in perspective can be.
And it really highlights that idea that God isn't, distant, not just in special places or moments.
Right here, in the small things.
Yeah. Discerning that presence isn't about waiting for some huge intervention. It's more like recognizing, I don't know, God's fingerprints.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Fingerprints in places we might have totally missed before.
Because that deeper presence, it's always at work, isn't it? If we just learn to look with, well, new eyes.
Exactly. And there's another story, maybe even more intimate, also from 2024, I believe. An Illinois grandmother who lives alone.
Right.
Her life might seem quiet from the outside, maybe even solitary to some.
Right.
But she developed this simple, yet really powerful daily practice. Every morning, she'd start by thanking God for 3 ordinary things.
Just 3 ordinary things, like what?
Oh, maybe the warmth of her teacup in her hands, or the sunlight coming through the window, maybe just the sound of a bird singing outside. simple things.
Hmm.
And she talked about how doing this consistently made her quiet life feel deeply sacred.
Wow. So she found that presence right there in those little moments.
Exactly. A constant, intimate presence. It wasn't about seeking big events. It was about truly seeing the gifts in the small, everyday ones.
It's amazing, both of them, the driver and the grandmother. They didn't do anything extraordinary in the world's eyes,
No grand quests, no big monuments.
but they cultivated this profound spiritual awareness, right where they were.
You did. And notice what they did. They slowed down.
Right, paid attention.
They intentionally opened their eyes to moments that mattered, cultivated that focus we talked about.
Moving from just passively observing to really engaging.
Yes, and they show that the sacred isn't just for special occasions. It's found by seeing the common, the everyday, with new eyes.
That's the real power, isn't it? It makes it accessible to all of us.
Absolutely. And these aren't just nice stories. They point towards a practical way forward.
It wasn't overnight for them.
No, it was a deliberate effort, a continuous practice. They chose to be present. And that continuous effort, that's what leads to the deeper journey.
Okay.
It lets you not only recognize that divine presence, but also start seeing a deeper purpose unfolding in your days. Even the challenges start to feel different.
How so?
You start seeing them through that new lens, understanding there might be something more going on, a larger story. It gives them a sense of meaning, potentially.
Okay, so this brings us back to the practical side. How can someone listening right now start growing their own spiritual awareness? Applying this to their own life.
Hmm.
It sounds like it comes back to slowing down, opening our eyes intentionally, and cultivating that focus, choosing to see.
That's the core of it.
But what's a first step?
Yeah.
Something tangible.
It's often about small shifts in habit,
Yeah.
not huge gestures, like maybe integrating mindful pauses.
And mindful pauses.
Yeah. Before you drink your coffee, just pause. Feel the mug's warmth. Smell it.
Hmm.
Acknowledge it as a small gift.
Okay, could see that.
Or before opening your email, just take 60 seconds. Look out the window. Notice the sky, a tree. Listen. It's about grounding yourself in reality, not escaping it.
Grounding yourself. I like that.
Another thing is what some call present seeking. While doing routine things, washing dishes, walking somewhere, consciously look for something beautiful.
Something to be grateful for.
Exactly. Or just a subtle connection. Sunlight on water, the feeling of your feet on the ground, maybe a neighbor's flowers, anything.
So building these small intentional habits, little by little.
That's the way.
But what about when it's hard? When life is throwing curveballs or we just feel overwhelmed by everything. How do you keep that healthy eye then?
Ah, yes. That's where the practice really shows its strength. It's not about being perfectly calm all the time. That's unrealistic.
Right.
It's about building resilience in how you perceive. When you feel overwhelmed, first step, just acknowledge it. No judgment. Okay, I feel overwhelmed right now.
Just noticing it.
Then try micro practice, like 3 slow, deep breaths. Really focus on the breath. Exhale tension. It creates just a tiny bit of space.
Okay, breathing. Simple but effective.
Very. And you can also try reframing challenges. Instead of seeing a setback as just bad, ask, okay, what might I learn here? Is there maybe a hidden opportunity?
Shifting.
Shifting the question.
Ah.
It's not denying the difficulty, but seeking the deeper narrative within it. Journaling can help too. End of the day, maybe 5 minutes. Write down not just what happened, but how you saw it. Any moments you felt that subtle presence or insight. It trains your brain to look.
That makes sense. It trains your awareness.
Exactly. It becomes a skill you build over time.
That's really helpful. It takes it from a nice idea to something truly actionable. Cultivating awareness, building the practice, even finding meaning when things are tough.
It becomes a living part of your daily life.
So maybe the main takeaway thought for everyone listening today is this. A heart focus on God will begin to see him in everything.
That captures it beautifully.
And as you go about your day, perhaps carry that initial question with you. Let it sit with you. What ordinary part of your day might God be using to speak to you right now? Just let that question guide your perspective a bit in the coming days. See what insights might just bubble up in your own life.